Yeah, all good, thanks. All good. Obviously, we know it's been a bit of a grudge build-up between you two. Just briefly explain why there is this bad blood, if you can.
Um, I just think it's a competitive thing. We've came up at the same time. I'll probably have a year more than him as a professional, but 2007, 2006, pretty close. And it's just a fight that should have happened a while back, but I guess the timing is perfect for now. So it's just it's going down on Friday.
And lastly, why do you think you beat Daniel Jacobs, only 3 defeats on his record, most recently to Canelo? Why do you think you'll beat him on Friday?
Yeah, I think at this point in my career, experience factor, is there, and I think it comes down to just Will, who wants him more. I think he slowed down a bit, and it just comes down to who's hungry, who really wants it.
Thanks for speaking to myself and pro boxing fans. Best of luck on Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, go for it, Matt.
This is Matt for Behind the Gloves. Thanks for joining us, Gabe.
Hey, how you doing, man?
You're now working with legendary trainer Freddie Roach. What has he brought to your team, and how do you think he's going to improve you as a fighter come Friday night?
I just think Freddie, what he adds to me is just that work ethic. I've always worked hard, but with Freddie, it's a game plan that we work on consistently every day. And it's just that mental focus. Staying locked in, staying focused on what's at hand, and it's just strictly business. So I think Freddie just keeps me locked in. And I'm just ready.
Do you think that Danny's made a huge mistake in choosing to fight you at this point, and that he's maybe overlooking you and looking at maybe the losses you've got on your record and thinking you're a stepping stone for him to get another world title shot?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's how he's looking at it, and my job is to give him a rude awakening. I'm not gonna fight him like I'm a challenger. I'm gonna fight him like I'm there to win. I'm in this to win it. I'm not in this to make it to the 12th round and say 12 rounds with Danny Jacobs. I'm in it to try to take him out of there. If I don't get a knockout, to hopefully win decisively on the scorecards. But I wanna give him a rude awakening and just let him know, like, you thought this was a tune-up fight, but you're in a real fight now.
And finally, do you think that you're able to go to a different place mentally, and you're more mentally stronger than Danny coming into this fight? And do you think you'll be able to take him maybe into deep waters where you'll really have to, dig out performance?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that has to do with the camp with Freddie, sticking to a game plan, hard sparring, with top fighters, young, strong fighters, 2, 3 at a time. I think just that grueling type of training camp that we had and that mental focus is definitely going to prepare me to just, be ready for whatever come Friday. So I think that's definitely going to be an advantage.
Right, cheers. Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's good, Gabe?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, is it more pressure on for you to meet your or exceed your own expectations, or to show that you were deserving of this fight? Danny mentioned earlier that maybe he shouldn't be fighting a guy the caliber of you. That's his words.
Yeah.
Which is greater for you?
Man, I think for me, it's what keeps me hungry right now is just, to put myself in a position to get a world title. I think I've been in big fights, and I think, just the schedule that I've had and type of fighters that I've fought back to back, is a difficult schedule for anyone, right? So it's just one of those things that make it. For me, I just kind of just took that time to just reflect on it and how can I get better. So, going into this fight, the way I see it is like I'm really not focused on what Danny could do. It's more about what I could do, and me just mentally being prepared to just bring out the best of me. Obviously Danny, with his skills, he's definitely gonna, you need a dance partner. You need somebody who's gonna bring that out of you. So Danny's definitely that guy. So I think it's definitely gonna be a great performance for me. Just locking in the way everything is.
What's been the major takeaway from you mentioned the series of fighters that you've faced, the decisions and outcomes in those situations, the preparation, whether you learned anything there. What have you gained most that will allow you? I thought I saw the comment from you was you plan on humbling him. What out of all of your recent experiences will allow you to do that?
Yeah, I think sometimes you get caught up and feel yourself too much, and you don't put the work that you think you're putting in. You think you're going hard, but you're really not. You know what I'm saying? And I think, that's just how I read Dan right now. I think Dan's in a situation where he's feeling himself. He's looking past me, and I've been there before, mentally. So I understand that. And I know that at this point in my career, you can't afford to make any error, any mistake. If you're not feeling like putting in that road work, you better put that road work in. You better suck it up. If you don't want to do 8 rounds sparring that day with 3 different guys, you better suck it up. And it's just me kind of just going along with whatever my trainers needed and whatever I had to do to be victorious. Now I don't know if Danny's mind is there. He's there right now in this moment.
Last question. What's your reaction to him? He's feeling better at 168. We've seen him get one fight in at 168 and look pretty good against Chavez.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to his thoughts of being at 168 and operating at optimal performance?
Yeah. Well, we both moved up at the same time. Obviously with age, the weight cut is a lot difficult. Metabolism changes, things like that. Get bigger, put more muscle on. So, I feel better at 68. Could I make 60? I could, but I don't know if I'll be as strong as I feel now. So, 68 definitely more comfortable. So I can see where he feels more comfortable at 68 as well. But at the same time, it could be that he feels too good, where he's probably not putting in as much work as he should when he had to make that 160. So we'll see. We'll see on Friday.
All right, best of luck to you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Gabe? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, bro?
So I got a question, man, directly from the fans. I asked Danny the same thing.
Yeah.
With all the bad blood leading up to this fight, what are the chances that after you guys settle your differences in the ring, that you guys can just shake hands and just move forward as professionals?
It's not no hate thing for me. Like, I don't hate the man. For me, it's more of I just want to prove that I'm better than him. So it strictly really comes down to just this performance, right? I don't got no ill will against him. I don't wish nothing bad against him. So, I have no problem after the fight. So, but there's been a lot of things said going into the fight that I don't like. I feel like I said, I want to humble him. I want to shut him up for the things he.
Right. You always involved in the fan-friendly fight, man. I can't wait for Friday night.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, champ. Best wishes.
Sure. No doubt.
The boxing source next, please.
King Gabriel Rosado, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man?
Doing good. Given that you're, coming out of Philly and Danny's, coming out of Brooklyn, like, how is that having that Philly-New York type of rivalry going into this particular fight?
Yeah, it's dope. It's a fight that could have easily sold out in New York, Philly or whatever, but under the circumstances, it's playing out the way it is. But it's a big fight. I fought in Brooklyn. I've headlined in the Barclays Center. Fought in Madison Square Garden, so I got a big fan base out there. Being Puerto Rican, you got a big Puerto Rican population. So, yeah, man, it's rivalry. I fought guys from New York, Sagun Pao and a few other guys. So the rivalry's real. like as far as a New York guy and a Philly guy fighting each other.
Now, one last question. You've been talking about this, fighting them since like December. Like, how is it to finally culminate in having this fight coming up on Friday?
Well, yeah, here's the thing. They wanted to fight, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I just came out of the blue and just start, talking about it. It was a fight that after what happened in Phoenix, his team reached out to me and they was like, yo, look, we gonna make this fight happen. So, I stirred it up. I started instigating the situation just to see if they was real about it. They reached out to me and told me, I was just chilling. And so, the fight was supposed to happen, then the pandemic hit, and now we're here. So at the same time, it was a fight that Danny wanted as well. He had his options to go fight for a world title. I also had my options. I was offered the Billy Joe Saunders fight, but I turned that down because I wanted Danny. And it was the same thing. Danny turned the Billy Joe Saunders fight because he wanted to fight me. So, it was mutual.
Gotcha. Thanks, King, and good luck on Friday.
No doubt. Thank you.
Gabe, Gail Falkenthal in San Diego. Thanks for giving up your Thanksgiving weekend for us, for our entertainment. There's been a lot more discussion again lately. It comes up all the time about keeping the O on the record, not facing the tough fights and criticism from the fans. And also looking over at the mixed martial arts community where this just doesn't seem to be as big a deal.
Yeah.
And you're one of those guys they're talking about with losses on your records, all to very tough names. And I would love your thoughts on this whole discussion, because you're sitting in a seat to know what that's like. Yeah.
No, I just think it comes down to being authentic. I think with the whole O situation, it's just about guys want to fall into the footsteps of Floyd Mayweather. But a lot of guys forget that, they know Money Mayweather, but they don't know Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd fought a lot of guys and took a lot of chances against fights that he could have lost. And with me, when I was at 54 and I was ranked #1, I could have fought my mandatory K9 at 54, which I was favored to win, but I decided to move up to middleweight to fight Golovkin, who no one wanted to fight. So I could have protect my record and just say, oh, I'm gonna go this route, and this is an easier route. But I dare to be great. I just chose the Golovkin in the Garden. I came up short, but coming up short to the fans, they respected it because it was like, man, he had his opportunity to go elsewhere, but he didn't. He chose to be great. He chose to dare to be great. So I think just being authentic like that, the fans can relate to it and they respect it. So I just think fighters just need to be more authentic and just, stay true to themselves. And at the end of the day, fans are going to love them regardless.
I think looking backwards at that fight, we all appreciated a whole lot more than we did at the time.
Thank you.
And now looking forward, you're closer to the end of your career than the beginning of your career. And have you thought a little about your legacy and what you would like your legacy to be when you do retire?
Absolutely. That's what this fight's about. This fight right now is just about legacy. It's about, I know that a win against Jacobs would then put me in a position to then fight for a title. And that's just how I would like to end my career, just with that stamp as a champion, So, this fight is definitely about legacy. That's why it's so important to me.
Well, we know you'll give it. Good luck to you, Gabe.
Thank you.
What's up, Gabe? How you doing? It's Ellie.
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm good. Reporting.
Yeah,
you fought Triple G when no one wanted to fight Triple G. You fought Charlo when no one wanted to fight Charlo. Same thing with Lemieux. Same thing with a lot of the fights. What do you have to do right here to beat Danny Jacobs? What are you going to do?
Hey, yeah, man. The work is done. We had a great training camp. Obviously now at this point in my career, I have, I may not be as fast as I used to be when I fought, those other names you just mentioned, but, I got the experience. I got a great team. I got a great corner. So it's just about listening to my corner and putting in the work,
And then
we had a tough training camp, so we're ready for this fight.
No, absolutely. You gave me an accurate prediction for Kell Brook Crawford. You gave me a prediction for Lomachenko Teofimo. What's your prediction, word for word, for Canelo and Callum Smith?
Oh, Canelo. I think Smith is gonna present some problems for Canelo early in the fight with his length, his height, and his size. But I think being that Smith is so tall, I think it gives Canelo an advantage to fight him in the inside and dig to the body and slow him down with body shots. He has a really good left hook to the body. So I think he'll slow down Smith to the body, and then he'll start busting him up top with the left hook. So I think Canelo pulls off a decision, not a knockout, a decision.
And my last question: if you take care of business and you beat Danny, do you want the winner of Canelo Callum Smith?
I'm not even gonna look past Danny right now and say anything on that. My focus is just being present in the moment and focusing on my job on Friday. I can't really look past Danny and say I want this fight. Right now it's Danny, and that's just my focus.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, Gabe? Stephen, KOR of Sports. You've obviously fought some top tier names in your career: Charlo, Lemieux, Triple G. Where does Danny Jacobs rank as far as like motivation wise, like in the gym? Getting you up to go to the gym. What is that? Where does he rank as far as all those guys that you fought?
Oh yeah, it's big. Danny's a former world champion. So the fight's it's a big fight, and it's a fight where it adds to my legacy. This is for the underdogs. This is for the blue collar workers, the hard. People that dare to dream and dare to be great, right? So that's what this fight represents. So a win against Danny is huge.
He when Danny was on, he was talking about he wanted to make you eat your words and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Talking more aggressively than Danny Jacobs normally speaks before a fight. Does that work to your favor? Kind of the fact that he wants to be aggressive. Obviously, you're aggressive. You want to scrap. Does that kind of work out for you, game plan wise? Hopefully.
Yeah, I really don't think anything he brings to the table really is gonna make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that Danny could do that I haven't seen. So whether he's aggressive, whether he wants to box, whatever he wants to do, is really not gonna make a difference in how I'm gonna feel. I'm just focused on what I gotta do. You know what I mean? So, he says he's gonna make me eat my words. I don't even know what words he's talking about because I just kept it all the way 100 with him. It ain't like I was fabricating anything. I ain't say no lies or anything. So I don't know what kind of words he's talking about.
And lastly, man, for me, your brother and your Philly brother and Danny Garcia is going to be fighting Spence. How do you see that fight playing out? How do you think?
Man, I love that fight. That fight actually gets me amped up for my fight because I was watching the build up of the fight last night on Fox, and man, it's a great fight. Spence looks great. Spence looks like the accident really didn't affect him. Some people are just built that way. Like if you look at Vinny Paz and his story and his accident, how he came back, and so you can't really like focus on the accident because the thing is like he doesn't even remember the accident. So it's not like he can have any flashbacks of like, any fear or anything like that. It's like he went through it, he came back, he's strong, he looks solid, his body looks good. So, I think it's just gonna be a great fight. I'm favoring Danny. I think Danny punches a lot harder than people than what Spence probably expects. So I'm favoring Danny in that fight, but it's definitely a great fight. It's 50-50.
King Gabe, thank you for your time, sir. Best of luck.
For sure.
Hi, Gabe. Just one quick question for me. You guys have been shifting in temperament. 1 minute Danny's hype, 1 minute you're a little hype. Today you're more calm. He's a little more hype and explaining more of what your backstory is between the two of you. What do you think is the biggest difference between the two of you as men?
As men? Because
fighters have dust-ups all the time and they say things to each other all the time. What makes this so personal? What is the biggest difference between the two of you?
I think the thing with Danny is, I think Danny, has a lost sense of reality. I think he's a little caught up in feeling himself a little too much, you know, and I'm just not feeling that, you know. Comments he made about me, you know, the thing is this, I've always get respect wherever I go, you know what I mean? Because I dared to fight big fights and big names, and at times where I really didn't have to. So I've always gotten respect for that. And then for him to just say, oh, you're just this, you're just a journeyman or whatever, you know, I started late. I worked my way up, working graveyard shifts. I did what he didn't have to do as a professional. I worked graveyard shifts. I did this for years, working my way in the rankings, ranking #1 in the world as I worked the graveyard shift. So he don't understand my story. So when he talk crazy like that to me, he don't understand how disrespectful he is, right? So when I say what I say about him, I'm just talking facts. I'm saying real shit. I'm saying, like, look, who was you fighting coming up? I mean, like, the only time when you stepped up, you lost. When you fought Canelo, you lost. When you fought G, you lost. You know, when you fought the Russian dude, you lost. You got slept. If anything, you didn't just lose, you got slept. You know, I was fighting real dudes coming up. I was fighting Soto Karaz, beat him. I was the underdog in that fight. I fought Sagun Pao, his New York mate, right? I knocked him out. You know, Charles Whitaker, Kasim Uma was my first 10-rounder. I beat him. So I was actually fighting champions and beating them when I was coming up. So that's just why I feel, that's what gets me worked up about how he talks about me. So, you know, I feel like I'm just speaking facts, and I feel like he's just talking crazy, and you know, he get caught up in his emotion and his fantasy of whatever he believes, but it ain't real.
So with that being said, what do you think is his best win?
His best win? I would say his best win was Peter, but you gotta remember this. When he fought Peter Quillen was having issues, promotional issues. So Peter Quillen was out of the ring for over a year. So he ain't fight like you know what I'm saying? He fought a Peter Quillen who was having all these problems, and you know, he took him out in the first round. You know, anybody could go out in the first round because you cold. It ain't like, you know, it ain't like he punished Peter Quillen for 6 rounds and, oh, that was impressive. It was, all right, he caught him with a good shot in the first round and he took him out of there. That can happen to anybody. But if anything, that's his most impressive win. Other than that, it's like, you know, he's supposed to beat Mora. You know what I mean? When Mora was like, what, 38 or older. So it's like, other than that, you know, and it's not to take away from him as a fighter. I still think he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? But I just feel we had different paths and different, you know, it's just a different journey, you know. I feel like mine was just tougher as far as in the ring.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gabe. Appreciate your time.
For sure.
Thank you guys for all the questions, and thank you, Gabe, for joining us. That's your lot for today, folks. Until Friday, when
that is the press conference call.
For sure. We're all good.
Thanks so much, Gabe, and thanks everyone for joining us. And we'll end the call there.
All right, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Thank you, guys.